Qalqalah is one of the most unique aspects of Arabic that cannot be found in other languages. So for a non-Arabic speaker, learning to apply this sifah properly is quite crucial, because in certain cases it might lead to major mistakes or lahn jali if applied improperly. So in this lesson, you will learn all the necessary basics about Qalqalah and most importantly, the common mistakes usually made by non-Arabic speakers and how anyone can get over these mistakes by some simple exercises. So what makes Qalqalah so unique in Arabic then? Well, in any language, letters come in two states, a consonant and a vowel state. For consonant state, many letters are produced by two organs colliding or touching one another. Like for example, M. When we say M with sukun on the mim, the two lips produce the sound when they collide or touch one another. Now, if we put the same sound in a vowel state by adding fatha, for example, the sound would be produced by the parting of the two organs. So when we say ma, the two lips part ways by opening the mouth. So these two states exist in all languages, including Arabic. But the problem arises with specifically these 5 letters, because when they are in a consonant state and the two organs collide to produce the sound, they become too difficult to differentiate from one another because of the mechanism of their pronunciation. Ab, aq, ad, out, which is obviously very unclear which one it is. And at the same time, we can't just simply pronounce them as complete vowels while they have sukun. So these 6 letters don't properly fit under either of these states in Arabic. And so the concept of Qalqalah was born to solve this problem for these 5 letters in the state of sukun. These 5 letters form the mnemonic qutb jad, which you can remember easily. So, since Qalqalah is a middle state between these two, it borrows the mechanism of consonants, which is producing the sounds when two organs collide, and it borrows a characteristic from the vowel state, which is the parting of the two organs to release the air, which will help us identify the sound easier. But to make sure that the sound is kept in a consonant state, this parting of organs must be controlled, so it must happen without any mouth or jaw movement. Otherwise, it will add an unwanted vowel, potentially changing the meaning of the word. Now, let's listen to the same combination of sounds with sukun, but this time by adding qalqalah to the letters. So basically releasing the air. Ab, aqa, ad, ata. And these sound much clearer than the first time we heard them. But how can we achieve this result? Well, when pronouncing any of these plosive sounds, which are called in Arabic huruf shiddah, you will notice that there is something in common. Let's take the letter ba as an example. When the two lips collide to produce the sound, we notice a gush of air accumulated behind the lips. Now, all what you need to do to apply qalqalah is to simply release that air by only opening the lips, without the jaws moving away from one another. Ab, ab, ab. And we apply the exact same technique with the other 4 letters depending on the makhrij of each of these 4 letters. Now, this gush of air produced is not the same in all positions of these letters. There are 2 degrees, major qalqalah and minor qalqalah. In the case of major qalqalah, it happens when you stop at a word ending with a qalqalah letter. Al-hajj, al-haqq, at-tanad, al-adhab, muhit. But minor qalqalah happens in the middle of your recitation, like ibtigha, يجتنبون قد علم. If you're still new to this concept, it is highly recommended that you first start practicing with the major qalqalah until you get the hang of it, and then move on to the minor qalqalah, because the major qalqalah is easier to detect and apply. Practicing with Surat al-Buruj or Surat al-Tariq is a very good place to start to practice your major qalqalah. And while the concept of qalqalah is not complicated to grasp, it is among one of the main causes for minor and major mistakes when it comes to Tajweed. And so we'll highlight the three most common mistakes for qalqalah. The first and the most common mistake is mixing qalqalah with a vowel sound when it happens in the middle of your speech. We'll first hear the mistake and then the correction. عبيدنا عبدنا قالوا ادع لنا ربك قالوا ادع لنا ربك يقضي يقضي. The reason why this mistake happens is when a letter before or after affects the qalqalah letter by adding a hint of that vowel. The best way to practice this and get over this problem is practicing in front of a mirror to watch your mouth movement. For example, in the case of this example, just by looking at the mouth movement, which of these two will produce the correct qalqalah pronunciation? If you chose this one, you are right. Let's listen to it. قالوا ادع لنا ربك قالوا ادع لنا ربك. So when the letter dal is pronounced between two letters with dhamma, the lips should be relaxed without any O formation. But in the wrong version, we see that the lips maintaining their O shape from the previous letter, which means that dal has a hint of dhamma, which is of course a mistake. One more example. The second version is this time the correct one. يقضي. Since the jaws didn't move apart when pronouncing the qa. But in the wrong version, we see that the jaws opening a bit, which causes the qaf to have a hint of fatha. يقضي. Which is of course a mistake. The second common mistake is extending the qalqalah. And this happens when you stop at a word ending with a qalqalah letter. But then you press too much on that letter to try and show the qalqalah more than you should. And the mistake sounds like this. أحد الأسباب الصمد. And this is of course a mistake because qalqalah letters are plosive sounds. And plosive sounds cannot be extended or elongated in any way. So this practice is considered a mispronunciation. The third mistake is splitting words with qalqalah. This is quite a common mistake among non-Arabic speakers, as well as those exaggerating the qalqalah sound too much. And it is essentially adding a short pause or sakta after a qalqalah letter in the middle of words, like what we hear in these examples. يقضي عبدنا إبراهيم. And these are all wrong pronunciations for these words because we are not allowed to split words that are not split. So, in conclusion, qalqalah is a state between being a consonant and being a vowel. And it is applied on these 5 letters. In a sense, The letters are consonants because they have sukun, and they are produced by the collision of two organs. But from another perspective, they behave like vowels in the sense that they are produced by parting of two organs to release the air. And so, the most important thing to keep in mind when pronouncing them is to keep the mouth and the shape of the lips in as neutral position as possible, to not mix the vowel sound with any of these letters in the sukun state. So this was sifah number 6 from the Sifaat without opposites, which means that there is just one more lesson left to finish this lesson series, inshallah. If you missed any of the previous lessons, make sure to check the playlist for the entire course, which I left in the description. Thanks for watching. If you want to start learning the Tajweed, then start with this playlist. And also, don't forget to check my latest book about Tajweed and download the companion app. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.